Alright, so hi everybody. I've been doing a little bit of reading last several months. I'm on a roll. This is the most recent book I read. It's called Where the Crawdads Sing. It's written by Delia
What is this reading
Owens?
rainbow?
Delia Owens? Not really sure. Doesn't matter. Some of the ladies at work recommended this book to me, and I thought it'd be a good read, so bought it. 30% off. 30% off. I like a book. A lot of my friends at work use a Kindle, but I like a book. Okay, so it's about this little girl. I can't even remember her name. Let's see. Marsh Girl. That's why I can't remember her name. She went by Marsh Girl. She didn't have a very happy childhood. Her dad was an alcoholic, and her mom was a victim of spousal abuse and different things that had to do with mental health. So at one point, her mom took off and left her and her siblings, and her dad would come and go as he pleased. Well, she learned to take care of herself. They lived in the marsh, way out in the boonies. So she learned to talk to birds and recognize sounds of animals, and she was very familiar with how to fish and how to take care of herself out there. They didn't really need much to survive, so that's what she did. Marsh Girl. She didn't go to school. She went to school one day in her life because Department of Child Services came and insisted that she go to school, and she just didn't go back. When Department of Children's Services came to look for her, to help her, she would hide out in the marsh, and she could be gone for days and they would not know where she was. There's a hummingbird. Oh, by the way, this is my favorite spot on the whole planet. This is my swing. This is where I find peace. I also have my hummingbirds that I watch over there. Anyway, back to the book. Also, there's a party going on behind me in case you haven't heard it yet. It's Memorial Day weekend. Looks like the youngsters in the neighborhood are having a little bit of a party. So let's get back to this book. So she, even though she wasn't book smart, she definitely knew nature, bugs, fish, animals, birds, weeds, grass, anything you can, nature. So you get to know this little character and you really love her. And she befriends a few people that come out into the marsh because everybody that lives in this area basically is a fisherman. So they eventually have to cross paths with her. So she gets to know a few people. She has a little friend that actually taught her to read, a young man that she had a good relationship with, and I think they kind of had a little crush on each other, but it was more of a friendship thing. And she kind of broke away from him because she just really couldn't be with somebody. Her dad had left, her brothers had left, she's all alone in this little nasty marsh house. And what she would do was go find oysters and things like that and go sell them at the local place where the gas was sold for boats. And she also befriended the owner of the boat place, and he was kind of her ally. He watched out for her. So fast forward, so you're getting to know this little girl. She's grown into a young woman. She doesn't have anybody in her life, but she has a couple of little boys that she's got crushes on. And when she's kind of like a senior in high school, although she never went to school, let's say she was 17 or 18, this boy did some kind of mean things to her. What is that in the yard over there?
Rabbit.
There's a rabbit over there. Under the tree, under the willow tree. Nature at its best out here. Anyway, and there's Jeffrey trying to scare the rabbit off. Anyway, I'm kind of skipping a lot of the story, but what I want you to know about this story is that this boy who she had a little fling with was found dead. He fell from a water tower, and the local police investigated and framed her for it, and just basically said that she did it because she knew everything about how to cover up her tracks in the mud and the high rise and the low tide and all of this. And so the story goes on, and I hope you're not a person that's bothered when someone gives you the ending to the book, because I'm going to tell you the ending of the book, so it might ruin it for you. Sorry, don't read it then if you don't like the way I present this. But she defended her. She was defended by an attorney. It looked like she hadn't done it. You really got the feel that she hadn't. There was another possible person that could have done it. And so she's acquitted, and she goes on about her life, and she marries this guy a few years later.
It's never gonna end.
Oh, I forgot to tell you. She publishes all these books under an alias of all these nature books identifying bugs and plants and things. And even though she never had a college degree or a high school degree, she was world famous for these books, nature books.
Wow.
And the guy that she married was the guy that taught her to read. He was also someone that
Wrap it up.
did things like that. Okay, so at the very end of the book, she died of natural causes, and she was married to this guy, and they lived in the marsh. They had updated it. They had a new kitchen and plumbing and things like that. And she insisted that this wood stove that was in their cabin that her mom cooked their meals on stay all these years. Well, he was doing some moving around, moved the wood stove, and there was like a little area under the wood stove.
Yeah, we know.
And all along there was this missing shell necklace that she had given this guy that died, and it was missing. And I want you to know that he opened a box, and there was that necklace with the shell on it, and so she had it. So that meant she did it. And until that very moment, I had believed that she hadn't done it. So, little marsh girl did it, but you almost can justify it by reading this book and getting to know her and growing to understand where she came from and why she did the things she did. Read Where the Crawdads Sing. You'll enjoy it, if I haven't ruined it for you. Bye.